Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. My name is Edwin, and in the last video we went over all of the submenus inside of GitLab used for management. And in this video I'm going to try and go over subgroups, projects, milestones, and issues. It's going to be a lot in this video, so hopefully we can get through all of it in one video. If not, I'll just try and split it up into something that's more digestible. We'll see how it goes though. So I've already tried to make this video a couple times. As you can see, I already have some subgroups created, but I'm just going to go over it and show you just how you can make one. So subgroups are organizational units for your company. You could have different teams formed in groups and then add members to the subgroups so that you could divide the responsibilities and maybe even liabilities. So to make a subgroup, you just go over here and click on New Subgroup or Create Subgroup. And I can make something like accounting. That's how you spell accounting. Let me just spell it. I think that's it. It could be private or public. And your email for inviting members here. The only reason that it's only showing private here is because the parent group is a private group, so it inherits from that. Okay, I'm going to cancel out of there. We already have a group for DevOps, and I'm just going to use this one. So when we're in our DevOps group, we can make a project, and this is going to be where we actually upload our files and put everything into it. Our actual project files into our project. Makes sense, right? So I'm going to call this a math demo. It's going to go into the DevOps group. I can put it in, any of these groups I want. But I want it in the DevOps group. I'm not going to give it a description. It's going to be private by force. And then I'm not going to initialize it with a README. We're going to do that later to demonstrate issues. So I'm going to create this project. When I do that, a lot of information is going to pop up at one time. This is if you want to create a local repository on your machine. This is more about Git than it is about, or it's more about GitLab than it is about Git. So I'm going to kind of just gloss over this stuff, but these are just instructions on how you could, using the command line, clone this repository, have this repository on a local machine, so that you can do work locally and then push it up to your remote repository that is hosted on GitLab. Cool. So we could do a couple of things. I could star this. If I give it a star, then that means it's one of my favorite repositories. And if I go to sort by starred repositories, then I could find this one more easily. And I think this is all we want to do here. So one thing that I want to do is let's create our first issue. To do that, I'm going to go over to the issues area, and now I have a lot of the same stuff that I had in the previous menu. I can see boards, service desk, milestones, iterations, merge request, all the same stuff that we could see before, activity labels and members. We can see that stuff within the project. So the scope is now targeted directly into this project, where before we were looking at the entire group. So the further back you go into this chain, the more back you go in parentage, you're going to actually get more data. So if I'm in the DevOps group, I'm going to see the issues for all the projects inside of DevOps. But if I'm in the Math Demos project, I'm only going to see things inside of that group or inside of that project. So let's create a new issue. And in here, it's going to give me a nice little form. And I'm going to give this issue a title. Create a readme.md. A readme.md is just a file that gives a description about the project, and then it's going to show up whenever we go to the front page of that project. So it's just like a welcome page. Anytime that somebody comes to the project, they can read through the README file and get more information. So these are all, your descriptions support Markdown, so you could write these in Markdown and say, what is my goal? And my goal is to create a README MD file that welcomes new users. Misspelled that one. There we go. And let's make a task section. And you have this nice little WYSIWYG over here. And let's have some requirements. The README should, actually I'm not going to use these. I'm actually going to, let's do bullets. Let's do 3 things. So we need to do the README should have a owner. The README should have the project title. And the README should, what's another thing that I could do? Should have a basic how to use guide. How to. And an owner. I want to be correct. Alright. So all that has been done. I can look at my previews. That's a loud motorcycle. And now I get to see what it would look like in Markdown. And my goal tells me what we need to do, and it gives me a couple of requirements. I'm going to leave it unassigned. We're going to assign it later. I'm not going to assign it to an epic. We don't have any milestones yet. We don't have any labels yet, but I am going to give it a weight. Give it a weight of 1. And let me create this issue. And just for, we need some code. I'm going to make one more real quick. Okay, there we go. We have our actual requirement here, our user story. It's a pretty easy one. This project has no main file. We need a main.python file that runs this code, and what we want inside of it is an if name equals main block. We want a main method, and we want the main method to print a welcome message. Pretty simple stuff. I'm going to create that issue. And the last thing that we said is that we want to create a milestone. We want to have a sprint, and we're going to actually create 2 of them. So I'm going to create a sprint 1 that starts on today, and let's end it next week. And I can write some stuff about this. What's our goal here? Our goal for this sprint is to get our workflow in a good state. I think it's good. And let me just do this. And I'm going to make a second sprint. And now we have 2 sprints here. One is going to be upcoming, and one we're actually working on right now. We have no issues in this sprint, but we're going to work on that in the next video. In the next video, I'm going to go over boards, and I'm going to go over labels. And then I'm going to kind of tie that in with our sprint and our projects, and it's going to give you a better view of how this whole workflow is going to work out. Everything's going to kind of come together in the next video, and you're going to kind of be like, have that aha moment. So check the next video out, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Oh, and also, can't forget this part. Please remember to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or comments. All that stuff, I read everything, so yeah. Have a good one. Bye, guys.